Ireland. A kitchen. I'm about 8 years old. The electricity bill arrives through the letterbox. My father picks it up. He hasn't opened it yet. But I already know what's coming. The lights go off. The kettle stays cold. Nobody opens the fridge. The whole house holds its breath around a piece of paper. I'm 8 years old, and I'm already learning something about money that will take me 30 years to unlearn. This video is about an electricity bill, but it's really about something much bigger than that. It's about the stories we inherit about money, without ever choosing them. Stories that live inside us so quietly, so completely, that we mistake them for who we are. Maxwell Maltz spent his entire career as a surgeon watching people carry their parents' wounds on their own faces. He called it the self-image, and he said it was the single most powerful force shaping your financial life, whether you knew it was there or not. By the end of this video, you will know exactly where your money story came from, and you will know the one thing that changes it. Growing up, money in our house was not a topic. It was a weather system. When it was fine, nobody mentioned it. When it turned, everybody felt it. The electricity bill was the storm warning. It meant the atmosphere was about to change. My father was not a bad man. He was a frightened one. Frightened the way his own father had taught him to be frightened. And fear, when it comes dressed as an electricity bill, looks a lot like anger. So he shouted. He turned off lights. He rationed the kettle. He made the whole house feel guilty for existing. And I sat there, 8 years old, filing it all away. Not consciously, not deliberately. The way children always learn the most important lessons. By watching, not listening. Maltz writes about this in Psycho-Cybernetics. He says the self-image is built almost entirely before the age of reason. Before you are old enough to question what you are being shown, it is already inside you. The bill arrives. The world contracts. That is just how it works. That is just what money means. Fast forward 30 years. I'm in my own house, my own kitchen. The electricity bill arrives, and before I have even opened it, I feel it, that same contraction, that same low-level dread sitting in my chest like a stone. And then I'm on the phone, shouting, accusing, turning off lights that nobody left on. And somewhere in the middle of it, I stop, because I can hear my father's voice, coming out of my mouth, word for word, 30 years later. I hadn't chosen this. I hadn't decided this. I had simply inherited it. And the question that hit me in that moment was the most important question I had ever asked myself about money. How much of what I believe about money did I actually choose? Maltz says the self-image is not your enemy. It is your autopilot. It runs your responses so you don't have to think about them, which is useful until the program is wrong. And most of our money programs were written by people who were themselves running old programs. Your father's fear of bills came from his father. His father's came from a generation that lived through war and depression and genuine scarcity. The fear made sense then. It was appropriate then. It was survival then. But you are not in that world. You never were. And yet the program runs anyway. Every time the bill arrives, every time the account dips, every time money gets tight, the old story fires, automatically, before you have had a single conscious thought about it. Maltz calls this the emotional scar. Not a wound that hurts you now, but a pattern that was burned in so early, so deeply, that your nervous system still treats it as present danger. The electricity bill is not a threat, but your body doesn't know that. Your body is 8 years old, standing in a cold kitchen, waiting for the storm. I was reading a book about gratitude, and it suggested an exercise that seemed almost too simple to work. It said, turn off the electricity source at the fuse box. Go back into the house and live there now without electricity. So I did, and I sat in a dark house. No kettle, no hot water, no light after sundown, no phone charged, no heat, no TV. Everything in the fridge getting warm. Within about 30 minutes, I had enough. I went to the fuse box and turned the electricity back on. I now viscerally understood that electricity was not something I was obliged to pay for. It was something I was extraordinarily lucky to have. I was really blessed. And then the bill arrived again. And something had shifted, like a lightning bolt, a whole new way of looking at it. The contraction wasn't there. Anger didn't come. Peace inside for the first time. Because the internal story had changed. The meaning had changed. The bill was no longer evidence that money was being taken from me, that I was losing in some way. It was evidence that I had light, that I had warmth, that I had hot water and a charged phone and a working fridge. The bill was proof that I was living well, that I was so lucky to have this amazing thing called electricity. And I had been treating it like a threat for 30 years. Maltz would say that what changed in that moment was not my circumstances. It was my self-image around money. I stopped being a man who was threatened by bills, and I started being a man who was grateful for what the bills represented. That sounds like a small thing. It is not a small thing. It's actually a massive thing. Because your self-image around money determines everything. What you pursue, what you avoid, what you believe is possible for you. If deep down you believe money is dangerous, you will unconsciously keep yourself away from too much of it. If deep down you believe bills are threats, you will spend your life in low-level financial anxiety, no matter how much you earn. But here is the thing. Maltz understood that most people never do. The self-image is not fixed. It is a habit, and habits can be retrained. You do not need years of therapy. You do not need to excavate your entire childhood. You need to give your nervous system a different experience, repeated often enough that it becomes the new default. Every time the electricity bill arrives, and I choose gratitude instead of dread, I am rewriting the program, one repetition at a time. It works, and it has changed how I see my bills as blessings. 30 years of one story, 30 minutes of experimentation, and the story was gone. Nothing about the bill changed. Nothing about the money changed. The external situation stayed exactly the same. The difference came from the meaning I gave it. And that is the most important thing I know about money. The numbers in your account are just numbers. The bill through the door is just paper. What turns them into fear or freedom is never the money or the bill itself. It is always, always, the story you are running about what the money means. My father was not wrong to feel what he felt. He was running the only program he had been given. But you and I, right now, we have something he never had. We have the awareness that the program exists, and the knowledge that it can be changed. The bill never changed. The electricity never changed. The only thing that changed was the story I inherited about what it meant. And the day I changed that story, I changed everything. I was a rich man and I was free. Back to that kitchen. Back to that 8-year-old standing in the cold. He didn't choose what he learned that day. None of us do. But here is what I want you to know. You are not your father's relationship with money. You are not your mother's anxiety about bills. You are not the story that arrived in your house before you were old enough to question it. You are the one who gets to decide what the bill means now, what the account balance means now, what money means now. Maltz said it best. The self-image can be changed, at any age, at any point, by anyone willing to give their nervous system a different experience often enough that it becomes the new truth. So here is the only question that matters. What is one thing in your financial life, a bill, a balance, a number, that you inherited a bad story about? And what would change if you chose a different one? If that landed somewhere, I would be glad if you stuck around. There is more where that came from.